Last Friday night, I was out at a bar with some friends. We were playing pool when my phone buzzed. It was a text from Tessa, my wife. She was working late again. This wasn't anything new. She works in marketing, and those deadlines can be brutal. I quickly typed back, "Don't worry, I'll grab something to eat on my way home," and went back to my beer. That's when my buddy Dale pulled me aside. He looked at me kind of strange, like he had something important to say. "I saw Tessa today," he said, his voice hesitant. "She was at that new Italian place, but she wasn't by herself." I laughed at first. "Tessa's got a lot of friends," I said. "She probably had a work lunch or something." But Dale didn't look like he was joking. He was serious. "No, man," he said. "It didn't look like a work thing. She was with some guy, and it looked cozy." A chill ran through me. I tried to brush it off. It couldn't be anything, right? But the seed of doubt had been planted. All night long, I kept thinking about what Dale had said. His expression, the hesitation in his voice. It didn't sit right with me. When I got home that night, it was past midnight. The apartment was dark. I walked in and saw Tessa's laptop on the counter, half open. The screen showed an email with the subject line, "Clint." That's when my heart dropped. Without thinking, I unlocked the screen. My hands were shaking, but it felt like I was doing it on autopilot. I opened the email thread. There were a bunch of messages between her and this Clint guy. They were talking about meetings and dinners, but the messages felt different. They weren't about work. It was obvious. They were talking about something else. Just then, I heard the key turn in the door. Tessa came in, looking way too put together for someone who'd been working late. Her lipstick was still perfect, and she looked surprised when she saw me with her laptop open. Her face went pale, and for the first time, I saw her without any fake smile or excuse. I held up the laptop. "Want to explain this?" I asked. My voice was calm, but inside I was losing it. She didn't say a word. She just stood there, staring at me. Her eyes flicked between the laptop and my face, like she was deciding whether to come clean or not. For a second, I thought maybe she'd tell me the truth, but instead, she laughed. "Oh, come on, Garrett," she said, rolling her eyes. "Are you seriously going through my work emails now?" I didn't budge. "I know you're not meeting clients, Tessa." "Clint? Client dinner? Late-night strategy session? Come on." She sighed and dropped her bag on the floor. She crossed her arms like she was annoyed with me. "You've been distant lately," she said, looking at me like I was the one being unreasonable. "Yeah, I went out with someone from work. You never pay attention to me anymore. All you do is work and come home like I'm just furniture." My jaw clenched. She was trying to make me feel like the bad guy. She was twisting everything around, dodging every question, and blaming me for her choices. But something in her tone, it wasn't just guilt. She almost sounded proud of what she was doing. "What exactly did I miss, Tessa?" I asked, my voice low now. "You sneaking around with him? The calls? The texts?" "Stop being so dramatic, Garrett," she snapped, her face twisting into something cold. "You're the one who's been distant. You've checked out of this marriage. It's not my fault Clint and I became close. He actually listens to me." Her words hit me hard. She wasn't even sorry for what she'd done. I could see it in her eyes. No remorse. No shame. Just a kind of cold indifference that twisted the knife deeper. "If you were really my husband, you'd already know," she said, her voice sharp. The words stung more than I expected. I felt a knot in my stomach. What did she mean by that? What did it even mean to be her husband if this was how she felt? I tried to stay calm, but it was hard. My hands clenched into fists. "So this is my fault? I pushed you to do this? To fall into his arms?" Her expression barely changed. She didn't even flinch. In fact, she rolled her eyes. "Honestly, Garrett, you're blowing this out of proportion. Clint and I, we didn't just fall into each other's arms. He listens to me in ways you never have. He actually cares." The words stung, but it wasn't just the words. It was the way she said them. Like I meant nothing. Like this was all just some small problem she couldn't be bothered with. "That's it?" I asked, struggling to keep my voice steady. "You don't think this is a big deal? You and Clint, what, you're just friends?" For a second, I saw her face flicker. Then, the mask dropped. She smirked. like she didn't even care anymore. Yeah, fine, she said, crossing her arms. Clint and I are more than just friends. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. The last bit of hope I had that this could all be a misunderstanding was gone. She didn't care. She didn't even try to hide it. She looked me straight in the eye and said it, and in that moment, everything changed. How long? I asked, barely able to get the words out. How long have you been seeing him? She thought for a moment, like she wasn't sure if she should answer. Then she said, 6 months. 6 months. Half a year. All that time, I thought everything was fine. Now, every moment I had with her, every dinner, every conversation, felt like a lie. I took a step back, needing space. I couldn't breathe. So every time you came home late, every work trip, every dinner with the team, it was him? I asked, my voice shaking. She didn't even try to deny it. She just looked at me, annoyed, like I was wasting her time. Garrett, don't make this worse. Clint and I were careful. It didn't affect you. You wouldn't even have noticed if you hadn't been snooping. I almost couldn't believe it. She was acting like I was the one with the problem. You really think I should have just ignored it? Sat here, playing the clueless husband, while you had your little affair. My voice was rising now, but I couldn't help it. She raised an eyebrow, irritated. Well, it's not like you've been winning Husband of the Year, has it? Always working, always somewhere else. Maybe that's why I found someone else who actually pays attention. Her words made my blood run cold. There was no remorse. Just this twisted justification. I was just the guy who was always there, but never with her. I stared at her, realizing that the woman I thought I knew was gone. She wasn't the person I married. Not anymore. And in that moment, I knew there was no coming back from this. The shock starts to wear off, replaced by a deep, burning anger that's taking over me. It's everywhere, filling me up, making me feel like I'm going to explode. I want to shout at her, shake her, make her realize what she's done. But I know it won't matter. She's standing there, cold as ever, like she doesn't care. It's as if she's already moved on. And I'm the one holding things up, stuck between her and her new life with Clint. You're unbelievable. I finally manage, my voice low but sharp. Do you even hear yourself, Tessa? 6 months of lying, cheating, sneaking around, and now you act like I'm the one who should apologize. She rolls her eyes, clearly irritated, as if I'm the one turning this into some big drama. I don't know what you want me to say, Garrett. I told you the truth. I could have kept lying, but I didn't. Isn't that what you wanted? Her words hit me like a slap in the face. The way she says it, like confessing to the affair, makes her some kind of hero. She's twisting the whole thing, making herself out to be the honest one. I don't know if she's trying to manipulate me or if she honestly believes this, but she's rewriting everything, casting herself as the victim and me as the fool who didn't get it. You're delusional, I say, my laugh bitter. You want to act like some kind of martyr now, after all this? After dragging me through this mess? Tessa just shrugs, like she couldn't care less. Think what you want, Garrett. Maybe it's better this way. Maybe it's time we both moved on. Her words hit me like a bomb. I can barely wrap my head around it. This isn't just some fling to her. She's already decided I'm out of her life. She's already looking ahead to something or someone else. I can see it in the way she stands, in the finality of her tone. She doesn't just want a temporary thrill. She's done with me, done with our life together. So, that's it? I ask, my voice cracking. You've already made up your mind? She doesn't even hesitate. Yes, Garrett. I'm done. I was going to tell you eventually, but maybe it's better you found out this way. Less drama. The coldness in her voice is almost unbearable. The way she's just brushing years of marriage aside, like it means nothing. Less drama. Tessa, you destroyed us. You couldn't even end things before running off to him. For a second, I think I see something in her eyes, a flicker of guilt or maybe regret, but it disappears so fast, like it was never there. She shakes her head, hardening again. I don't know what you want from me, Garrett. I wanted more from life than this, more than what we had. And there it is, the truth, laid bare. It wasn't just about Clint. It was about everything. About her wanting something different, something better. To her, We were just another chapter to be tossed aside. That's when it really hits me. I'm not just losing her. I'm losing everything. The life I thought we were building, the future we talked about. She doesn't want any of it. I feel like someone's ripped the life right out of my chest, leaving me hollow and breathless. She stands there, unaffected, arms crossed, like this is all some big inconvenience to her. She's made up her mind, and I can see it in the way she's standing, in every word she says. It's like she's been rehearsing this, preparing herself to leave, and now that she's here, she's just going through the motions, getting it over with. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. So what's the plan? You're just going to walk out and run to Clint, and that's it? She doesn't even look surprised. In fact, there's a tiny glimmer of relief in her eyes, like she's been waiting for this moment, for me to give her permission to leave. I think it's for the best, don't you? We can go our separate ways and make it as clean as possible. Clean. She actually thinks we can end this cleanly, like we're splitting a dinner bill, not a marriage. Tessa, we built a life together. I say, my voice cracking despite my best effort to stay calm. This was real to me. I trusted you with everything, and now you're just throwing it all away. She shrugs, acting like it's no big deal, like I'm just some old memory she's done with. Things change, Garrett. People change. Maybe you just didn't see it, but I did. I've been ready for something more for a long time. You were too busy, too comfortable to notice. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. She's not just rewriting our past. She's rewriting me, turning me into some clueless husband who couldn't keep up with her needs, who couldn't give her what she wanted. It's like I was never enough. In that moment, something shifts in me. The hurt, the anger, the betrayal. It all hardens, solidifies. She's not walking out on some clueless man who didn't understand her. She's walking out on a man who gave her everything, and I'm finally seeing her for who she really is. I straighten up, a sense of calm washing over me. I'm done with this. All right, Tessa, I say, my voice steady. If you want out, then go. You've made it clear I don't mean anything to you anymore, so go ahead. For just a second, I see surprise flash in her eyes. I don't think she expected me to take it so well. She probably wanted me to beg or plead, to give her some sense of victory. But I'm done. I'm done begging for her. She clears her throat, trying to hold herself together. I'll stay at my sister's tonight. I'll pack my things later this week. Without another word, she grabs her bag and heads for the door. I don't try to stop her. I don't even look back as she walks out. The door clicks shut behind her, and the silence that follows is deafening. It's final. I'm alone now, left with nothing but the wreckage of what we were. And for the first time since all of this started, I realize, maybe that's exactly what I need. The silence is almost unbearable. I stand there, staring at the closed door, half expecting her to come back. Maybe she'll say she's made a mistake. Maybe she'll try to rewind all this and fix it. But nothing happens. The apartment is still and empty, like she's already disappeared from my life. I sit down on the couch, my mind racing, replaying everything in my head. 6 months of secrets. 6 months of lies. How did I miss it? How did I not see what was right in front of me? I trusted her completely, never thinking she could betray me like this. And yet, here I am, blindsided, left to pick up the pieces alone. It isn't until hours later that the weight of it really sinks in. I'm still sitting here when her words come back to me, echoing in my mind. You were in love with the idea of us. She said it like it was nothing, like it was obvious, like I was the fool for believing in what we had. But now, I see it. She was cold, distant, and I didn't even notice. I get up, moving around the apartment in a daze. Her things are still here. Little pieces of her, reminders of the life we once had. The picture of us on the shelf, her mug on the counter, her perfume still lingers in the air. Each thing feels like evidence of the lies she told me, right under my nose. I open her closet and see a neatly folded stack of clothes next to my shirts. On top is the dress she wore last New Year's Eve, the night she told me how much she loved me. The memory stings. I close the closet door, but it doesn't help. I can still see her, hear her, feel her in every part of this place. As I turn to walk away, I hear a buzz from the kitchen. Her laptop is still on the counter, abandoned in her rush to leave. The screen lights up with a new email from Clint. I hesitate, part of me wanting to close it, to block it all out. But the other part, the part that needs answers, reaches for the laptop. I swipe the trackpad and open the email. It's from Clint. Missed you tonight. Can't wait to be together for real. Let me know when you've told him. It'll be a fresh start for both of us. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. This wasn't just a fling for her. She was planning this all along. She'd been waiting for the right moment to cut me out of her life and start fresh with him. I slammed the laptop shut, my hands shaking, my stomach turning. The anger starts to burn, slow and steady. I deserved better than this. I deserved the truth. And now I know, this is the end. There's no going back, no fixing this. Tessa's made her choice, and I have to make mine. It's time to move on. I can't just let it end like this. Her walking away without facing the consequences of everything she's destroyed. She might think she's washed her hands of me, that I'll just disappear into the background of her new life. But I won't let that happen. I refuse to be some forgotten chapter, something she can toss aside when it suits her. I grab my phone, knowing I need to talk to someone, but not sure what I'm going to say. I scroll through my contacts and stop at Lena's name, Tessa's sister. Lena and I have always been close, and she's seen Tessa and me through some of our toughest times. She deserves to know the truth. She deserves to see the real Tessa, beyond all the lies. Without second-guessing myself, I hit call. It rings twice before Lena picks up. Her voice is warm, but confused. Hey, Garrett, everything okay? She asks, concern in her tone. I pause, struggling to keep the bitterness from spilling out. Lena, I need to tell you something, I say, my voice thick. It's about Tessa. A brief silence follows, and I can almost hear her bracing for bad news. What's going on? Did something happen between you two? My grip tightens on the phone. My jaw clenches as I force the words out. She's been seeing someone else for months. She's leaving me for him. The silence on the other end is deafening. I hear her gasp softly, and I know she's stunned. After a long breath, she speaks, her voice a mixture of disbelief and anger. Are you serious? Tessa wouldn't. No, she couldn't do that. She did, I reply, feeling a strange weight lift with the confession. I saw the emails. She's with a guy named Clint. She admitted it tonight. Another long silence follows. Then I hear her take in a sharp breath. Her voice trembles, a mixture of anger and sorrow. She's been lying to you, lying to all of us. Exactly, I say, feeling validated in a way I didn't expect. You're not the only one she's been lying to. I don't even know what to say, she responds, her voice thick with emotion. I had no idea she was capable of something like this. I'm so sorry. Her words hit harder than I thought they would. For the first time since all this started, I feel the weight of everything. The betrayal, the lies, the devastation of losing the life I thought I knew. But Lena's support reminds me of what I need to do. Thanks, Lena, I say, my voice steady now. I appreciate you hearing me out. I just thought you deserved to know. Thank you for telling me, she replies, her voice firm but soft. Tessa's going to have to answer for this. She can't just hurt people and walk away. I hang up the phone, and for the first time in what feels like forever, a strange calm washes over me. Lena's reaction was exactly what I needed. A reminder that Tessa's betrayal doesn't define me. I still have people who care about me, people who see through the lies. The next morning, there's a knock at the door. I open it to find Tessa standing there, perfectly put together, as if last night was just a minor inconvenience. She holds a small bag, her lips tight and her eyes avoiding mine. I need to pack some things, she says, her tone all business, as if there's no emotional weight to what's happening. I step aside, letting her move past me. She pulls clothes from drawers, gathers her things, acting as though this is just a quick errand, not the end of everything we've built together. After a few minutes of silence, she speaks again. I know this is hard for you, Garrett, but it's for the best. The words sting, but I hold back my anger. Was any of it real? Tessa, did it ever mean anything to you? She stops, her back to me. I can see her shoulders stiffen. When she turns around, her voice is detached. It was real, Garrett. But people change. I changed. And maybe I realized that what I wanted then isn't what I want now. I nod slowly, taking in the finality of her words. She's done with me, done with us. There's nothing left in her willing to fight for this. The person I thought I knew is gone, replaced by someone cold, indifferent to the damage she's leaving behind. Fine, I say, my voice quiet but steady. Take what you need and go. I'm done fighting for something that clearly only mattered to one of us. For a moment, I think I see a flicker of regret in her eyes. But just as quickly, she shuts it down, grabbing her bag and walking toward the door. Before she leaves, she pauses, her hand on the doorknob. I hope you find what you're looking for, Garrett, she says softly, almost like a whisper. And with that, she's gone. The door clicks shut behind her, and the silence is heavy, final. But instead of feeling lost, I feel strangely relieved. The weight of holding on to someone who had already let go has finally lifted. She made her choice, and now I'm free to make mine. This is the end of today's story. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more captivating stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.